Hi, in this video we'll be looking at percentage of a quantity. And we'll therefore be able to work out whether or not this and this are actually good deals or not. Alright, well here's our first example. I want to work out what 100% of 12 is. Now that seems fairly simple, but there's a couple of things we need to make sure we understand. First of all, of is the same as multiplication. Okay. And percentage can be written as a fraction with whatever the numerator is over 100, which is the denominator. So once we've got that right, we can then work out what 100% of 12 is. So step by step we go. So what is 100% of 12? Well, quite simply, 12 multiplied by 100 over 100. And then what I do is I multiply this out. So 12 multiplied by 100 is 1200, and 12 as a fraction can be written as 12 over 1, and 1 multiplied by 100 gives me 100. I now need to simplify this fraction, and I can see there's a 0 there and a 0 there, so I'm going to cancel those two, and those zeros can also be cancelled. So I'm just going to go dip, 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 and what I have is 12 over 1, and if I rewrite 12 over 1 as a whole number, how many times does 1 go into 12? It goes in 12 times. So mathematically I've proved that 100% of 12 is in fact 12, and I can go ahead and I can colour in all 12 of these blocks. And well, that pretty much answers that question. So now, using the same technique, what is 50% of 12? Alright, again, the answer is going to be 6, and pretty simple to work that out in our heads, but I want you to show me how to do it mathematically. And once you've done that, also colour in the little chart down the bottom. Alright, well there you go. So I've solved the problem mathematically, and I've also drawn it in on my little graph down the bottom. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of them out of the 12, which is equal to 50%, or if we want to think about 50%, a half of 12 is equal to 6. Right, another one for you to have a go at. Do the sum and fill in the boxes. Off you go. Put the video on pause, come back when you're ready. Alright, well 25% of 12 is actually equal to 3. There is all of our workings out, and I've coloured in only 3 out of the possible 12 boxes. Alright, well this time round I don't want you to fill in any boxes or anything like that, I just want you to do the maths. So what is 20% of 80? Show me your workings out, put the video on pause, come back when you're ready to see if you got it right. Alright, well I've actually worked it out two different ways. First way and the second way. Pretty much the first way I haven't simplified at all. I've just multiplied by 20 by 80, give me 1600, and 100 by 1 to give me 100, and then I've simplified that fraction down to give me 16. Or I've actually done some in fraction simplification to end up with 16 over 1, and that obviously is simplified down to the whole number 16. And it doesn't matter which way you got it, and if you got both of them, fantastic, well done. Right, well this time I want you to find out what 20% of 170 meters is. Alright, don't forget to put in your unit of measurement in your answer. Put the video on pause and come back when you're ready to check. Alright, well you should have ended up with 34 meters, and quite simply 20% is 20 over 100 multiplied by 170 meters, and I've made it into a fraction, so I've put it over 1. I've done some in fraction simplification, and 2 multiplied by 17 is 34, and 1 multiplied by 1 is 1, and simplified that fraction down to 34, and my unit of measurement is meters, and I've included it in there, and that is 100% correct. Well, sometimes there are easier ways to calculate percentage, and one of the methods is called the unitary method. And in this question we asked to calculate 20% of 80. So the unitary method looks something like this. We say 100% 10% of 80 is equal to 80. And if we had 10% of 80, that would be 80 divided by 10, and that would give us 8. So now, if we know what 10% is, and 10% is 8, what is 20%? Well, quite simply, therefore, 20% of 80 is equal to 8 multiplied by 2, and that would be 16. So that's another way of actually working out percentages of a number, and perhaps a little bit easier. So give this one a little bit of a go. I want you to calculate 5% of 70 using the unitary method. Put the video on pause and come back when you're ready to see if you got it right. Alright, well, you should have ended up with 3.5, but how did we get there? Well, quite simply, 100% of 70 must give me 70. 10% of that must be 70 divided by 10, which gives me 7. But I want to go a little bit smaller. I want to go half of 10. Okay, so I'm going to divide 7 by 2, and that gives me 3.5. And if you got that, well done. So coming back to the first slide, we have two shirts that are on sale. One has a 20% discount, and the other says, well, take $6 off. Which one of these two shirts is the better deal? Well, let's see if we can work it out. The first shirt is saying take 20% off. So I'll do that. So my cost price or sale price is $30, and I'm going to multiply that by 20%. So that equals 30 multiplied by 20 over 100. And that 30 I can turn into a fraction as well. I can do some in-fraction simplification. And 3 multiplied by 20 is going to give me 60. And 1 multiplied by 10 is equal to 10. And I simplify this fraction. 10 goes into 60 6 times. So I'm actually getting a $6 discount. So in effect, $6 discount. The first one is 20% off. The second shirt says $6 off. They basically, well, they are exactly the same. So it doesn't matter which shirt I take, I'm getting a deal anyway. And that's pretty much all there is to it.